Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at Windows 11 and see how it holds up in 2025. Now, the thing you have to remember is that Windows 11 right now is the latest and greatest from Microsoft. This is going to be that one version of software that is going to be there for the test of time for the next couple of years. I would say probably for the next 7 years, this is going to be the main version of software that Microsoft's going to be using. Maybe there could be a chance where they release an update, sooner than that. But I would still say for the next couple of years, this is still going to be a version of software that Microsoft and a lot of people are still going to be using, even when the next version of Windows ends up coming out. So the first thing I will definitely tell you is that if you are in the market and you're going to go ahead and install any version of Windows, it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and just get stuck with Windows 11 in the first place. It makes so much sense to go ahead and just install that version of software and use that particular version of software rather than going to Windows 10 or starting off with something else. And the main reason for that is because within Windows 10, it's already kind of coming to its end of life. So this October, it's almost already done. You probably don't want to be on a version of software that's almost already done, right? You probably want to be on a version of software that's going to be giving you some future ahead of it. And this one definitely is going to be giving you that. Now, when you look at the kind of what Windows 11 is right now, the best way to kind of think about this version of software, in my personal opinion, is that this is a better version of Windows 10. It still may not be the most, user-friendly thing in the world. Some people might still like Windows, 10 more. But I would still say, just from looking at it, Windows 11 still looks pretty good for the most part. It has deep integration with Copilot. So there are a lot of AI features, a lot of Copilot type of features. And because that is kind of one of the main things that Microsoft is kind of trying to build out, that is basically going to be a big feature for you, or it's not really going to be that big of a deal. I think for a lot of people, most people probably like Copilot, they like those types of integrations, but some people might prefer something like a Windows 10 PC if it doesn't have all that AI stuff trying to just do AI stuff all the time. So that could be something that could be kind of a takeaway for some people, but again, not that big of a deal. It also has a lot of, advanced security. So I will say for the most part within Microsoft right now, within Windows 11, that one is going to be the most secure version of software. So if you are in the market and you're going to go ahead and use any version of Windows, it makes a lot of sense to go and have something like a Windows 11 PC that's already going to be giving you those security updates right out the gate, and that's going to be something that's very important. The UI is updated as well, so it has a much newer type of interface. And because it does have kind of its newer type of layout and everything, that could again be something that would be really nice to see from a lot of people to use. And I would say from Windows 11, that could be something that is actually really nice right there. Again, maybe it's not the biggest deal in the world, but the UI is definitely nicer. You have an improved touch experience. So if you're using the touch screen a lot, that is going to be an overall improved experience within Windows 11. And you have much better long-term support. So this is also another really big takeaway, because if you're trying to go ahead and get a device that is going to be lasting for a longer period of time, it's definitely going to be Windows 11. However, there are some cons within Windows 11 as well. Number one, there are stricter hardware requirements. So if you have a very old PC, and if it runs Windows 10, it doesn't necessarily mean one-to-one that it's going to run Windows 11. So that right there could end up being a problem as well, depending on who you are and depending on your PC structure. If you already have a PC that's cool with Windows 10 and it will run Windows 11, then that may not be that big of a deal. But because Windows 11 requires better hardware to run, you might be wanting to look for better hardware in that situation, and that could be another one of those things to keep in mind there as well. On top of that, the UI is slightly different than what it was on Windows 10. So some of you might actually prefer to have a device on Windows 10 because it looks nicer, but it's really to each their own. It just depends on which one you prefer, and I don't really think it's the biggest deal in the world, but that could just be another thing. Because there's new features and it's just a newer version of software, you might end up seeing that Windows 11 might end up becoming more buggier and kind of things like that. Again, I don't think it's really the biggest deal in the world, but again, that could just be another one of those types of problems that you might just run into from that side. So I will tell you, in my personal opinion, when I'm kind of looking at a Windows 10 PC, I definitely like Windows 10, right? I think it's a really good version of software, but Windows 11 definitely makes a lot more sense to go ahead and basically use. It really doesn't make a lot of sense to use Windows 10 anymore, considering it's coming to its end of life, and it makes a lot more sense to use something like Windows 11. So that's the one I'd recommend using, and that kind of covers it up here for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.